Hello everyone, this is just a very quick video on how to install and utilize your pre-calibrated smart probe for your log tag device. I will now show the contents of every probe kit that you receive. It comes pre-calibrated. Please note your order will include a certificate. For today's demonstration, we do not have a certificate, but rest assured your new smart probe will include the appropriate calibration certificate for your device. Additionally, we also include fresh zip ties. That way, when you remove your old probe and you go to reinstall your new probe, you're able to tie this down using the already in place cable anchors from the previous installation. You will simply install it in the reverse order that you remove the old probe. And that's all we're going to have to do to achieve calibration on our data loggers, and that is one of the nicest things about the smart probe data loggers. So when removing an existing smart probe, if you installed it per our instructions, it will be zip tied down. It is best to have a pair of side cutters or flush cutters. We will use these cutters to snip off our existing zip ties, both on the exterior of the fridge and if you did mount any on the interior. It is extremely important to be extremely careful that you don't accidentally cut the probe when you're removing it. Same with reinstallation if you're trimming any excess zip ties. So we've just removed all of the cable ties and mounting points for the probe and the bottle inside. So now simply I can remove my existing smart probe. And then I'm going to disconnect it from my logger. So now that I have my removed probe, I'm going to set this old expired probe off to the side or in a safe place. And I have my new freshly calibrated probe that's good for 2 more years. It is important to note that when installing our temperature probe, we always want to install it probe into the interior cabinet of the refrigerator. So probe first. So we're always installing our probe from the outside of the unit into the inside because this will not fit through most fridge pass-throughs. So that's a tip to make it a little bit easier. That's also why during the unboxing, we took off the cap and seal. And that is to allow us to fit this probe through that pass-through. I'm simply going to connect the probe to our logger. And I'm going to rest the logger into the wall mount bracket, which is set up in a way that allows you to remove and insert the logger within the bracket even if the probe is connected. So now that we have our probe inside the refrigerator, we will install the probe. So with these cables, they're best fished under the racking, and we like to pull them through above and then get them to where we like them, to where they will meet your bottle. Now we reinsert our bottle cap first, and then we install our probe seal next. And then once installed, it will look just like that. The seal will be underneath the lid. And now we simply remove our solid cap, and we'll insert the whole probe assembly into the bottle like so. Once we have our probe buffer bottle assembled, we want to attach the probe cable to our racking. We include extra zip ties so we can hold the cable down to the crossbar of our rack. So as you can see here, we've passed our probe through. We've passed it underneath our shelf racking, up and back into our bottle after assembling our probe cap and seal. And then we've secured our probe to the underside of the racking using 2 of the included zip ties. We've left the excess on just so it's easy to see them currently. And that's the finished installation of the probe itself. We're going to use our included zip ties and adhesive cable anchors. They have slots, so you can insert the zip tie in either direction. And then whatever you want to tie down cable-wise, you simply wrap them around and affix your zip tie, and that will give you a good secure mount. After clipping off the excess from our cable ties, installation of our log tag temperature data logger is concluded.